The rumor was that he left because unfortunate Nookie was born from her mother having an affair with another man.
Andrew, you are not the father.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we're diving into r/LegbeardStories. Yes, indeed. You know I just can't get enough. We're continuing that unfortunate Nookie saga with part number 4. If you've missed the previous parts, those links are down in the description for you to peruse at your leisure. It seems like today we're going to have a character study of unfortunate Nookie, which is something that I've been looking forward to. I have waxed poetic and created many theories about unfortunate Nookie, her upbringing, why she is exactly the way that she is, and today we might actually get some confirmation and some answers, and then we can add this type of neckbeard into the Neckbronomicon, which is something that Fire Drake is surely keeping up on. But I do know that life gets busy and we all got stuff that needs doing. Beard research, it can wait. You know, it's a developing field and we will get to it surely when we get to it. So no sweat there. I'm gonna be around. But let us get some answers. We'll get some plugs and disclaimers out of the way and then we will dive right into some LegbeardStories cringe. Unfortunate Nookie Part 4. Deeper dive into the mind of Nookie. God, it sounds terrifying. Let's buckle in, ladies and gents. Welcome back, dear readers. Today we will try a different approach. Let's have a character study instead of a timeline telling of events. I'm gonna try, just for the heck of it, to write this part on mobile, so we'll see how that works. It's probably gonna be fine. This saga is insane, and at times, dark. Trigger warnings apply. If you get triggered by things, this story might not be for you. You have been warned. Don't feel bad about turning the video off if you feel it getting too heavy. And of course, not safe for work filter, you know, just in caseies. ReddX read the first part here, and the second part here. Ooh, with the eyeball emojis. I know emojis are like a thing that you're not supposed to do on Reddit, but I appreciate that you break the rules, OP. Blaze your own path, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, as I said, those links in the description if you like. These stories get way more awesome life with some ReddX voice and commentary. And see my post history for even more. And check my post history for all the other parts. Yeah, I guess it does add some life if you like tangents and side stories and whatnot. But if you're just looking directly for the story, then check out OP's post history at user/thegreenbear. Anyways, here's the cast. Unfortunate Nookie describes herself as
probably the least intimidating person you'll ever meet. Shy and awkward, but generally easy to get along with. I often speak before thinking, and may come across as harsh, but my bluntness is just sadly something that I haven't learned to control. I don't mean anything bad by the things that I say.
Chronic avoider of blame, as you can see by her own words. An avoider of taking responsibility for her actions. Needs constant validation and attention. Screams too much, gets way too close, and has acid dragon breath that she's just too lazy to deal with. Ugh, and she still gets laid. What is up with this? The Valley is our local insane asylum. Oh, Greenie is our OP. Now unfortunate Nookie's new best friend, I guess. Brute is another friend of Nookie's that she's made in vocational school. Also has an unfortunate Nookie saga of her own starting up, which is pretty cool. Fabulous Peacock is Brute's childhood best friend, also a friend of unfortunate Nookie. Alright, so with all that out of the way, let's explore more of this train wreck, shall we? A train wreck in slow motion, and I love it! Timelines defy the madness, which is unfortunate Nookie. It's really hard to keep straight all the things that she got up to all the time on all the multiple fronts, but there were questions about Unfortunate Nookie's origins, so let's discuss. Hell yeah, dude, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. I got so many theories. Unfortunate Nookie is from a moderately well-off family, with an older brother, an abusive mother, and a father that left when she was very young. Oh, called that abuse. That's why she doesn't want to go home. That's a big reason why she is the way that she is. Not necessarily an excuse for all the things that she's done, but definitely a reason. Her father has a new wife and family. Unfortunate Nookie loved to berate her mother. Unfortunate Nookie,
She's such a horrible, violent bitch. She's always drunk and she blames me for everything. She has a new man every day, and she yells at me and hits me.
Unfortunate Nookie's mother did kick her out of the house when she was 16. I'll return to this later a bit more. Unfortunate Nookie,
The worst thing she ever did to me was threaten to throw me into the valley. How could she even say that? Like, my problems weren't real and all caused by her, and she'd just throw me away instead of trying to care for me like a mother should. She said I was impossible, said I was disobedient, and then she kicked me out. She's the worst mother, and I hate her.
yeah, that's all pretty rough stuff. And I think the mother, if she actually is abusive, is a big part of the reason. Although, Unfortunate Nookie, knowing her, could have made all of this up. I met Unfortunate Nookie's mother once. She was giving me narcissist vibes. She did constantly have a glass of red wine in her hand for as long as I was there, and she was unnecessarily loud most of the time. Like she was trying too hard to make a pleasant impression, and overemphasized how her voice lilted with friendly tones. But it just made her come across as creepy. There was, though, this thing with Unfortunate Nookie being extremely fake. She'd fake a stutter that would disappear when she didn't have an audience. She'd flinch and pretend to be scared of things, and over-exaggeratedly jump back when she was supposedly afraid of things. But she would forget to flinch when she thought no one was looking. So I was a bit skeptical about her reactions to her mom, because I'd seen all of her acts before. Yeah, I'm also quite disbelieving, but I'm taking it all with a grain of salt. I guess we gonna see. Her mom at one point made Unfortunate Nookie try on some sweater, and after Unfortunate Nookie said
She doesn't like it because it wasn't her style.
she tried to help Unfortunate Nookie take the sweater off, and Unfortunate Nookie did not want her help and told her to back off. But she went all nonsense and yanked the shirt, which got stuck on Unfortunate Nookie's brow piercing and pulled on it. No damage or blood, but she was crying and shaking after. Her mother just tut-tutted and said she shouldn't fidget when she's trying to help her. Well, why don't you just listen to what other people want? God damn, it does explain a lot. So yeah, her mother is a horror story all on its own, and meeting her even the once was once too many. But Unfortunate Nookie's room was always full of manga, games, merch. What this woman could not give in emotion, she made up for in stuff. God damn, Unfortunate Nookie had a lot of stuff, which is probably why she stuck with her abuser Baldy when he bought her stuff. Oh my god, man, it's all fallen into place. This is just amazing. I mean, not amazing. It's horrible and really sad, but I do feel validated in my theories at the very least. Unfortunate Nookie had a nice old lady in the neighborhood who often spent time with her, let her come into her apartment, eat biscuits and drink tea, and again bought her many things. Clothes, games, jewelry. This lady was like a second mother to her. But there was always this odd lack of gratitude, and
Yeah, she'll give me this dress, sure, but she didn't give me the headpiece that I needed with it.
she'd tell me about all the things that she got, but not very much about how nice the lady was. I kinda had to read between the lines to understand that this woman sincerely felt sorry for little Unfortunate Nookie and tried really hard to bring something good into her life, much like OP tried to do for her, and much like she's responded to OP. It's just ungrateful and kind of bullshittery that gets thrown back into her face. It's rough. Unfortunate Nookie's brother was some years older than her, and a tall guy. Also a huge video game nerd. Big, scary, goth-looking boy. As Unfortunate Nookie tells it, when her brother was born, her parents were very liberal and let him do basically whatever. He quit school, started doing drugs. They were worried that their daughter would go down the same path, so they were extremely strict with Unfortunate Nookie. She had curfews, restrictions, had to come check in, etc. Unfortunate Nookie's brother was famous for the classic rage quits with the throwing controllers and whatnot. Again, usually Unfortunate Nookie would put him down or make snide comments on how
Stupid and annoying her brother was.
But from between the lines, I felt that he had near endless patience for his sister and was always up to help her if she needed someone. He ended up becoming a youth counselor, I think, and despite Unfortunate Nookie railing on him, I got the idea that he is a good guy. Yeah, the firstborn always has a different upbringing than the rest because that's when the parents are making all their mistakes, and I think Unfortunate Nookie is jealous about that. But the dude does seem like a good guy, becoming a youth counselor and such, and trying to help other people not go down the path that he went down. So, yeah, he gets a sign off from me. Good guy, I agree. Her father was the least spoken about. First thing Unfortunate Nookie proudly told me was that her father is
Ridiculously good looking. He used to be a model.
And he was, from the picture that I saw. He and Unfortunate Nookie, however, shared no characteristics at all, mentally or physically. So what does the mother look like? Why did she end up becoming a little troll? The rumor was that he left because Unfortunate Nookie was born from her mother having an affair with another man. Oh, snap! Maury says you are not the father. And the even more interesting twist is, Unfortunate Nookie shares a lot of characteristics with Brute, way more than she does with the rest of her family. It may be possibly because they're actually related, and Unfortunate Nookie's mother had Unfortunate Nookie with someone from Brute's family. Jesus. In either case, Unfortunate Nookie's dad was a relatively strict, no-nonsense man, so you can imagine that they did not get along well with Unfortunate Nookie, who was basically nothing but nonsense. However, again, as was typical for Unfortunate Nookie, she would shit-talk her father and call him
Callous and cold and uncaring. He left, and he's always loved his new fake family more.
Yet, Unfortunate Nookie would tell me how he paid for her cat's surgery, helped her pay for plane tickets to travel, train tickets, came to get her when she called him saying that she was going to end it all. Yeah, this man was obviously just a heartless monster. I don't think I would raise a child that was the result of infidelity either. I would be out so fast. And the dude does seem like, he doesn't know how to express emotion, but that's kind of just a problem with guys in general. Thanks, society. But yeah, again, overall, it seems like he's doing the best that he can. So props to the father as well. Also, Unfortunate Nookie's stepmom was just
a horrible bitch
who didn't understand her. She'd give Unfortunate Nookie money to start school or get a job or to pay for trips to jobs, and she kept trying to push and encourage Unfortunate Nookie to work and make something of herself. Unfortunate Nookie responded with,
"She's a fucking cow."
Irony.
Who keeps trying to tell me how to live my life and push me to do things that I can't do? She doesn't understand how hard my life is. She's holding paying for my bus trips hostage and will only pay for them if I go to work. Ugh, what a bitch.
Oh, man. This chick has essentially given up before she even sat down and tried to do anything. If you're sitting there hustling, like, you can make something of yourself, but if you give up before you even start, then of course you can't. You didn't even try. Ugh. I'm frustrated even watching, but, props to the stepmother again for even bothering to try. She could just be like, yeah, it's my stepdaughter, whatever, but she's trying to push her to become something. So I like basically everybody but Unfortunate Nookie so far. Unfortunate Nookie had an aunt and cousins that she visited a few times a year. They paid for her train tickets there usually. So she rode free into another city and stayed with her cousins in their house for free and ate and played games and had a good time, and then came back to tell everyone how entitled her aunt is and how spoiled and dumb her cousins are, etc. Ugh, she's just so terrible. I don't have the words, man. My favorite instance of, wow, the audacity of Unfortunate Nookie was when her cousin graduated high school. Her aunt paid for Unfortunate Nookie to come over to attend the party, and also paid for Unfortunate Nookie to help out with the party by baking and serving. I don't know about y'all, but in my family, we don't pay for each other's trips or service. We all come together with our own funds and make up, as a collective family unit, all the food to serve and then serve ourselves. My point being that, to me, it was uniquely kind that her aunt had paid to have her attend the party, and then paid her on top of that to help out with said party. Do you really even want her at the party, though? Do you really even want her cooking food? I don't know if that's a good idea, Coach. I'll remind you that Unfortunate Nookie herself never made it through high school. She returned from attending her cousin's graduations and drops me some of these gems, while also snagging a free lunch from my place of work at the time. Unfortunate Nookie with her mouth full, probably.
Ugh, I can't believe all the pandering my idiot cousin was getting. So, he graduated high school. A big deal. And very nice of my lazy-ass aunt to hire help. Can't even host her own party. My cousin's had it easy. All the things he's gotten in life have just been handed to him. Unlike me, I've had to crawl and fight for everything that I have. I've never used anyone in my life for anything.
Self-awareness level 0. You've got something that was handed to you in your mouth, your fat fucking mouth right now, you stupid idiot. Ain't no such thing as a free lunch? Well, not for Unfortunate Nookie. God damn, dude. You'd think that a harsh reality check would help her out in some way, but in order to have a reality check, you gotta be like, at least kind of participating in reality. And she clearly is not. As most times when Unfortunate Nookie told me the truth, I sat in a stunned silence. It was so blatant, so rude, and totally blew past the obvious kindness and help that her aunt was trying to extend to her, and in the exact opposite of what had really happened. I didn't know what to say to that. I didn't know how or where to start telling her how mean and fucking wrong she is. So I sat there and just let her prattle on about
how stupid her cousin is, completing high school that she didn't even get into, and going to the army next, which was total BS.
At least in her opinion. All I had ever seen from her is whining and bitching and crying until someone felt sorry enough for her to give her something.
Never asked anyone for anything.
My ass. I have countless evidence of her begging for free things for pity for years. It is the card that she likes to play the most from the few posts that we've read. Just a tiny sprinkle of any sort of introspection would completely shatter her worldview, and that is why she doesn't bother with looking inwardly. Like, a lot of the times, I wouldn't have minded Unfortunate Nookie's opinions, whatever they were, but whenever she had one, she really couldn't have it without shitting on somebody else. That is the part that always got to me, and I felt a need to fight her, like, really, bitch? Really? Coming from you? If she had just said a thing, it would have been fine, but no, she always had to be Unfortunate about it. We've kind of skipped her being Wiccan. I met her and she had it all over her profiles. Neopets, Gaia Online, DeviantArt, loud and proud. she was a Wiccan. Okay, cool. Edgy teenager being a cool witch. Sure. Neopets, bro. Oh, that brings me back. One of these days we should dig into my Neopets account. I recently got it unlocked, which was super cool. After 15 plus years, I just show up again. I'm like, hey, this still exists. Honestly, I didn't even notice her being Wiccan until one day when she went on the offensive and commented on some user on Gaia Online to me, like, Unfortunately,
Oh my god, what a fucking idiot. I bet she isn't even a real Wiccan.
OP, what? Unfortunately.
This stupid bitch claiming that she's a damn Wiccan. There's just so many stupid tweens thinking that they're some cool forest witch, but they don't know that being Wiccan has a forest orgy as an initiation rite. Okay?
Yeah. Go on, tell me more. I haven't had quite enough cringe for today. I am again in that stunned 404 place of my brain, trying to compute what the hell is actually happening. Unfortunately continues.
That bitch doesn't seem like she had an orgy in a forest, lol.
I don't know if that's an insult or compliment. You don't look like you've had an orgy in a forest. Okay, thanks. OP, but weren't you Wiccan too? Unfortunately looked disgusted. She said,
Me? Well, no. I'd never be caught dead pretending to be something that I'm not. Their lifestyle is way too extreme and weird for me. I don't like the rituals.
Yeah, forest orgies pretty extreme. You could bang a 30-year-old vampire, but forest orgies? Nah, that's out of the question. I wish I had saved the screenshots. She literally had it everywhere. I wouldn't have even noticed that she changed her mind and took it all down if she herself had not made a big deal about shitting on someone else having her beliefs, which she now denied ever having. Revisionist history at its finest. But me, Brute, and Fabulous Peacock all remember the Wiccan phase because she also told everyone, and I mean fucking everyone. Anyone who would say hi to her and had no idea who this chick was knew that she was a Wiccan witch. Unfortunately, maybe once mentioned that she had been molested as a child by one of her mother's lovers. Ooh, God, what a fucking topic shift. Oh, God, I wasn't ready for that. But yes, that does validate another one of my theories, I guess. And maybe that is why she is so sex-driven. She never really mentioned it again, except in passing. That is not a thing that you mention in passing, okay? That is a fucking wild thing to drop in somebody's lap. And the story on the second round changed from the first time to her being a baby instead of remembering it and it possibly being her father. Yeah, she might be lying about it again. You can't really know what's real with this Legbeard. That's the most frustrating part. Unreliable narrator. Why I mention this is that I like to believe this, and I think that it would explain some of what she was like. She also did overshare, like a lot, to everyone basically all the time. So if this was true too, why not share this? She told everyone who raped her when her rapes occurred, and she changed these stories as she changed the story of her orgy plans, which, yeah, we haven't gotten to that yet. Is she gonna do it in the forest? Like, she told Brute on their first meeting that
OP had stolen the father of her unborn child.
Which was a lie, and you usually don't really want to throw your abortion into the face of somebody that you just met. She also, later on, met Mimic and Mimic's friend, who, traumatized, still remember that within the first 15 minutes of meeting, Unfortunately informed her new friends how
she loves to swallow cum.
Yeah. That's not a good opener. Unfortunately has, for being so insecure and a constant failure, a few areas that she feels that she's excellent in, one of which is making food and the other is animals. Well, her food was fucking gross. The worst were these pumpkin cinnamon buns. This bitch loved pumpkin and cinnamon, probably because she looks like pumpkin. So she once made pumpkin cinnamon buns with like 20 times the usual amount of cinnamon at the very least, and oh, no sugar, because she didn't like sugar. So she removed it from almost all of her baking. She put in like 400 grams of cinnamon or some shit into these buns, and they were terrible. I told her as much, and she, of course, was livid. She said,
What do you mean terrible? I think these are great.
OP, I'm sorry, but I think there's just too much cinnamon, and the pumpkin doesn't quite fit. It just gives it a weird side flavor. I don't think I can eat these. Unfortunately.
Ugh, you just don't know how to appreciate such great cooking. Your taste buds must be off. Everyone loves my baking.
So I took some out and had people try them without telling them what was special about them. And more importantly, who made them, so there could be no bias. And no one could eat them. My favorite comment on these Obama buns, Obama buns, was from Mimic's boyfriend, who said, "Gosh, these taste exactly like burnt electronics smell." Oh, don't smell burnt electronics. It'll give you Alzheimer's. And if you finish eating this cinnamon bun, you'll probably wish you had fucking Alzheimer's. Me and Fabulous Peacock could not enjoy our favorite spice, cinnamon, for a few years after these buns because they were just that gross. She also once offered to bake me a birthday cake. Without sugar, no thanks, bitch. Unfortunately said,
You've been so kind to me. I really want to return the favor. I know. I'll bake you a birthday cake. How's that sound?
OP, who is hesitant as fuck after the Obama buns. That's really kind of you, but you don't have to. I don't need a cake, unfortunately.
Please, I promise to make it just the way you want. What are some of your favorite flavors?
This sounded promising, so I gave in. OP, well, I love vanilla, caramel, coconut. Bananas are nice. You think you could make something with those flavors? Unfortunately said,
I know. I'll make you a carrot cake.
I had another 404 moment trying to compute how did we get from what do you want on your birthday cake to I'm just gonna make whatever the fuck I want to make for you. Vanilla, caramel, coconut, bananas equal carrot cake. Yeah, sure. Greenie, did you not hear what I said I would like on my cake? Unfortunately,
I did, but I don't like any of those flavors. So if I made that, I couldn't eat your birthday cake. So I'll just make a carrot cake. I know you like those.
What the fuck? The birthday cake is not for you. Ah! The carrot cake was, of course, sugarless and burnt, and it looked like she honestly didn't even care about making it look nice at all. And I tasted it alongside the betrayal that I still had to swallow down to this very day. I hated her food, and even more so when she kept insisting that
it's great. She's great at what she's doing.
And she just did not follow instructions and refused to take any sort of feedback on board. I'll stray into Nookie and animals before closing this part of the story. Unfortunately, Nookie felt that she was great with animals. They had this connection.
Dogs usually start to wag their tail and pull towards me from the other side of the street.
She would tell anyone who ever said anything related to dogs this fact about her. I heard about her effect on animals endlessly. During the 7 years that I knew her, I cannot recall a single instance that would prove any of this to be true. Unfortunately, Nookie had several pets while I knew her. First, she had rats. She never cleaned their cage and got upset when they peed on her because rats pee about every 15 minutes. She said,
"They're just so stinky and difficult. I can't handle them."
And then she gave them away. Well, that's honestly for the best, you know. Those ratty boys, they definitely deserve better. Obviously, this bitch is not equipped to handle them. She can't even take care of herself, for God's sake. Unfortunately, immediately after the rats, found a cat for free from somewhere online. It was a cute, tiny, female domesticated short hair, and unfortunately, mostly ignored the cat. Once I saw with my own eyes, unfortunately, playing online, the cat purring and walking up to her for pets, and she violently grabbed the cat's neck without looking at her and threw her across the room. When she grabbed the cat's neck, it screamed in pain. She didn't even go check on her. I did. Unfortunately, gave this cat away. God, it's like the same shit that happened with Alinity, isn't it? What a piece of trash human. Honestly, the catty boy deserves better, just like the ratty boys. I hate how she treats animals, but I have to be grateful that the animals did get away from her eventually. Unfortunately, justified this by saying,
"The cat was crazy. I couldn't control her. She was a vicious beast and hissed at me and clawed me."
OP said, "That's funny. All I ever saw from her was trying to get your attention and you just throwing her away." Unfortunately, shot me daggers for that comment, but animal cruelty is one thing that I could not let slide. Cruelty towards me? Sure. But animals? Bitch, you do not fuck with animals. After the cat, of course, she wanted a dog. Everyone told her, "Don't you fucking dare! Look at the cat! Look at the rats! You can't handle a dog! Do not do this to yet another animal." It's like talking to a wall. As I could see that she wasn't listening to literally all of her friends and family telling her not to get a dog, I tried a different approach, knowing that we could not stop her. OP, if you have a dog, at least get an easy, affectionate breed, like a King Charles Cavalier. Did she fuck? She came home with a husky Samoyed mix, probably the worst kind of dog if you don't have time and attention to give to it. That dog is gonna eat everything in your house when it's bored. The breeder's burner phone and email were both not responsive, of course, because she knew where to look for cheap animals. She had this puppy for over 5 months, during which she was happy that her sled pulling dog, that means a dog that needs to have a fucking run daily, learned to pee in the bathroom because she wouldn't take him out even once a day. Jesus Christ, dude. That's a victory for you? You can't spare 5 minutes to let your dog go have a piss, let alone give him the walks that he needs. Ugh, she's awful. I hated her before. I could tolerate her hatred of herself, even her hatred of her family, but the hatred against animals is just, it's beyond the pale. Eventually, she called me, crying, and she said,
"I can't take it anymore. I'm gonna throw the fucking mutt outside and let someone else have him."
OP? Wait, why? What happened? Unfortunately,
"The dog chewed one of my hairbrushes and my computer power cable."
Yeah, bitch, he's bored.
"He's impossible, and I've lost over 200 euros worth of stuff from his crazy chewing. I was so angry that I hit him, and I lifted him from his legs and threw him into the
piss-filled
bathroom. He's a menace, and I'm at my wit's end. He's just howling in the bathroom and won't stop. Please help me."
I fucking snapped. She had been dreaming of having kids at this time, and I was so angry for the dog that I could hear crying through the phone that I couldn't stop myself from saying what I said. OP, tell me, if you're gonna have a baby and it won't stop crying, are you just gonna smother it with a fucking pillow too? She hung up on me after that comment, as was to be expected. I called back and said, I'll help her and come and get the damn dog. She thanked me for helping her, and now agreeing with everyone who said that
She couldn't handle a dog. I'm just too emotionally unstable. I'm sorry I'm such a piece of shit.
oh, she said it. Yep, you said it, not me. All I'm doing is agreeing. I had the dog for 3 weeks, during which he destroyed none of my things because I took him out 3 to 5 times a day, one of which was always a 1 to 5 kilometer run. He was a happy, goofy, loving, and peaceful dog. Eventually, I found him a home out in the countryside with an older couple whose dog had recently died. Well, I don't know if that's the breed for an older couple, but at least they got space for him to run, I suppose. The couple sent me thank you emails with pictures of him being happy and healthy every Valentine's Day for years, for giving them Odie, as they renamed the dog. I even visited some years later and went to check up on that happy and healthy boy. They never sent a single message to Unfortunate Nookie. I did give them her contact info and explain that it was her dog, and that she had really tried her best with the dog, which probably was true. And that's the saddest part of that. I caught Unfortunate Nookie live streaming once to tell people that
I stole her dog.
because yeah, that's what happened. Ugh. She lived with me for a few months at one point because I could not get rid of her. And during these months, she said,
You know, I think your dogs like me more than they like you.
If you've ever owned a dog, you know how fucking ridiculous that is to claim. And while she managed to eat at my confidence with multiple other things, this was something that I just laughed at. And she became so sour. I worked nights at the time, and we had one rule. Just one. If she ever took the dogs out without me present, she is not allowed to let them off the leash. I get off work at 4 a.m. and see 3 missed calls from Unfortunate Nookie. Oh no. I call back. OP, hey, you've been calling. What's up? Unfortunate Nookie crying.
I'm so sorry.
OP, what happened? Sorry for what? Unfortunate Nookie.
I took your dogs out, and I'm sure we had a connection, and that they'd listen to me better than you, so I let them loose, and they didn't listen to me. I'm still looking for one. I'm sorry for being such a piece of shit.
I didn't have time to indulge in her self-hate, where she apologized for indeed being a shit, but not for what she had done. I forced her to focus and tell me where. Where did you lose the dogs? And I got her to find the missing one over the phone before I got home from work. I wasn't allowed to be mad at her because she was so sad about what had happened. That would have been mean. How could I possibly be mad that she broke my one fucking rule and endangered my dogs? I told her she is not allowed to take my dogs out without me anymore, and she probably threatened to kill herself again, as if that would make me feel better, but this was near the end, and I was truly running out of fucks to give. After we stopped being friends, I heard through some mutual buddies that she got cats. Again. She once left for an anime con for the weekend and left her cats alone with an open window. Her neighbor called her when one of the cats had fallen out of the 3rd floor window. Jesus Christ. Unfortunate Nookie said,
Why does this always happen to me? I'm so unlucky. I must be cursed. Wah!
Her father and stepmother paid for that cat's surgery. But yeah, as we can all see, she's fucking excellent with animals. Ugh. Remember, laughter is the music of the soul. If you can laugh at it, you can get over it. Also, remember to shower daily. It's good for you. Greenie out. Also edit, formatting, grammar. So I do feel bad for Unfortunate Nookie in a lot of ways, but I also have a hard time truly sympathizing because your past doesn't define you at the end of the day. It doesn't have to dictate who you become. You can grab life by the horns and steer it in whatever direction you like. But if you're just going to lay down and say, oh, woe is me, and let everything get out of hand and out of control simply because you don't have the intestinal fortitude to stand up and do what needs to be done and take what you want, then how can you blame anybody besides yourself? The first couple of times, okay, I'll give you some sympathy, you know? I'm sorry that those things happened to you, but how can you be sad after the 100th time? And yes, indeed, OP seems to be learning that lesson slowly but surely throughout these series of events. It's definitely a wild ride to be on, but we still got a couple of parts left to catch up on, and even more after that. OP's just basically taking a break while I catch up. So I hope that you guys are enjoying it. Do let me know. I hope you like, comment, and or subscribe if you did enjoy the video. Check out them links in the description. Yes, indeed, plugs and playlists and my social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Discord. Come on through, say hello. Yes, indeed, we've also got my Patreon and my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons. I'd like to thank them as I do every video, so thank you very much. Robert Waits, Baron Von Waggy Pants, TSM Kirby, USMC8932, Twisted Child, Delicious Jelly Donut, Candy Sora, Cinnamon Susie, Fat Boy Shrimp, Fire Drake, Livison, Mr. Anime Manga Fan, Silent Revolver, Zero MMX, Aaron W, Anaki, Babsy-kun, Caustic Fox, Cherished Kitsune, Dinosaur Nightlight, Disposable Waifu, Aaron Lennox, Fisher Diggy, Gypsy, Hadrian BR, Heathcliff, A Pimp Named J Crisp, JM Kun, Jerry, John Hero, Kira M, Miss Monday, Lexi Loves Jojo, Little Lone Wolf, Lord Liono, Lori Ellis, Jackets Rule, Mel Pascal, Melgar the Destroyer, Mirthful Baker, Mr. J, my boy Nat One Nick, Lady Nix, Origami Steve, Phantom of the Pines, oh, new one, welcome to the fold, my friend, Katakins, Elizabeth, Sidestep, Cider Drinker, Redwind, Roustower, Serrated Ash, Siegfried, Satori, Staples Yeet, Synaptic Boomstick, Brilliant Tamago, Tapioca, Boogaloo, Tato Ferret, Teddy the Police, That Duck and Bug, The One True Fusky, Treeberg, Wilmag, Zero Blacktail, A Normal Joe, Amara, A Roxers, Cake Jerry, that's a different Jerry! California Keto Girl, Chris Meska, Cinnamon Bunny Dog, DeFan, hey, that's a new one too. Welcome to the fold, my friends. Goose Says Honk, John Indoors, KJW, Kajow, Crafty Kitty Cat, Leon Embers, Life of a Guardian, Little Ann Woods, Mark 211, maybe next time, Milkfed Gimp, Miss Duchess, Naga Viper, Origami Cam, Princess Rosalie, Raptor Art, Saints Blessing, Spoonie the Rogue, Steampunk Ellie, The Last Shinobi, and the Necrobomicon. Thank you guys all so much for supporting the channel in the way that you do. It means the world to me. I'll be sending out patron emails quite shortly. And once again, I thank you. I do hope some other people will consider signing up on the Patreon. But if you can't do it right now, friends, don't sweat it too hard. I just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me. And I hope you'll come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. In order to do so, you need to keep yourself safe out there. Wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Like watching some more ReddX videos. Straight up. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely deserve it. I shall see you in the next one. And until then, friends, bye-bye.